Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Idle Heroes account. You'll notice a few changes here. We don't need to talk much about it, but Sir Finn is gone and sold, and in his place, we have a Lord of Fear Aspen, who will serve in Star Expedition because, frankly, DGN is okay sometimes. She's less consistent than LFA is, and also her peak damage is sadly still smaller. So, not good times, sad times. So we do have an LFA back on the account. He'll be larger. I think we'll use him as a second damage dealer in Hollow campaign. That aside, we have sacrificed the PvP role in exchange for a PvE role on this guy. And now we have Giant Killer, Defier, Hunter's Focus, Armor Break. The previous role was Giant Killer, Defier, Skill Damage, armor. So both have a dead stat here because armor break is extremely easy to cap for me. So it was basically just a toss up. What's better on SSM for me, skill damage or hunter's focus? And after mathing it out, hunter's focus turned out to be better. The difference, however, was marginal because I am chock full of all damage dealt already. If I had zero all damage dealt on the account, Hunter's Focus would be just better, full stop, without qualification. But as the pool gets diluted, Hunter's Focus has diminishing returns. But regardless, for now, this is better. Not many roles would be better than this in terms of full offense. Skill damage, holy damage would be better over armor break. But aside from that, we're looking pretty good. Precision as well, probably. Although I would definitely prefer holy damage or skill damage. Can I really warrant re-rolling this guy? No, I can't. Sadly, because the odds of improving upon this are so incredibly small that I think I'm better off just saving the CSG for events at this point. So I think this is going to be the role that we have on the SSM. I think we take it. So without any further ado, we're going to head into our purpose of this video today, and that is going to be finishing off Realm's Gate Perfect Smash 180. You'll see here we have Void Corruption 180 and 2 out of 3 perfect triumphs. So we're going to go through, we're going to do our best not to throw by setting the wrong team on a boss wave. And we're just going to head in and do it. So we have the Abyss Waves. By the way, they did update the teams once more, which is kind of cool. And this is the team we're rocking with here. So we'll explain sort of the order of operations that goes on. We have Star Alchemist Holmes Young and BQA to apply lots of attack debuffs because these guys are extremely high statted. You'll notice that they had a divine power level of 20, which even at my divine power of 15, that leaves me at a 5 divine power gap disadvantage, which is rather dangerous. So the more that we can reduce their damage output, the better. And you'll notice I'm also running 2 CC heroes. The benefit is this. Before, with Perfect Smash 170, I could just run TVB. And that worked because there was an assassin that prioritized hitting her. And so she would reliably trigger her twines pretty early on in the fight. I guess DH caught on to that. And they sort of countered it. And the way they countered it was they made assassins extraordinarily slow. And so the whole team attacks basically before the assassins do in many cases. And so that just means you have to take a whole bunch of hits before TVB gets her twines off, and that's just sad news, and we don't like that. So the second damage dealer, the second control hero, it is like 3 a.m. right now, so I'm out of it. So pardon if I have any misspeaking moments here, but regardless, back to it. We have Wukong here because if he starts on an energy artifact, he will drain his health by half, and this is actually enough to put him as the lowest HP enemy, and thus he will soak up some damage from the assassins, leaving TVB alive. And so even if Wukong perishes, we have our superior CC hero in TVB to outlive after that. So it helps out a little bit. whoever is in charge of the Realms Gate fights, these are actually extraordinarily well thought out battles that are complex and diverse enough to be not cheesable by TBB in most cases. Light one is. This one's not entirely because there's the Geister there who will deal passive damage. Um, not cheesable, but also not extremely annoying like triple Valk Wave. So um, whoever needs, whoever's in charge of Realms Gate needs to also be in charge of Void Campaign because that would make that mode much less annoying. And if it's the same person, I don't know what they're thinking with Void Campaign because Void Campaign sucks a whole bunch. So there's that. SSM is not doing a very good job with his chases at the moment, which is kind of sad to see. SSM almost perishing there. The Geister wreaking havoc upon my team, and of course SSM not chasing him, saving him for last. So we're going to need the support to clean this battle up. I think they should be able to do it with Perceptual Disorder, TBB's Twines, and the Root of Confusion from the Bloom Star Soul. Although this is making me sweat a little. Won't lie about things. There we go. We got some Dove from the Plume. Very nice. On Star Alchemist Homes, of course, because Sahi is a mage and thus has a better chance of inflicting the Dove. Quite nice. Given the low amount of damage, it's possible we even see some fulfillment from the Bloom Star Soul appear on one of our heroes in the near future. You need 5 stacks of Vigor for that to occur, and right now I don't have the Burst unlocked, so it's not going to be applying every 4th round. So what you're going to be looking for is a little golden apple circulating around somebody, not the one around Melissa. That is actually Melissa's skill. Oh, there we go. Melissa has the golden apple now, so in one way or another, she is fulfilled, which is cool. And if you don't know what fulfillment is, probably read about it, because it's pretty friggin' good sometimes. And sometimes it's just kind of mid, but it can be pretty friggin' good, which is the important thing. All right, round 17 victory. The team cleaning it up. Star Alchemist Homes most predominantly. Moving along. But yeah, so as you can see, that was a little bit scary. And then this one is also going to be scary because it has Sherlock and Holmes. But you'll also notice they didn't just spam them in. It's just one, a reasonable amount. So quite cool, quite nice. Bam. You'll notice lots of green explosions. That's going to be the Destiny trigger for Star Alchemist Homes and BQA, because they trigger on ally active skills. Sherlock sniped that SSM twice and successfully inflicted a Dove. Rather scary. But it looks like this one is going to be just fine. So we're going to skip it. Nice fight. And we are moving along. On to the Shadow level. The Shadow heroes actually tend to be the most dangerous of them all, surprisingly. We have Tix in that team who actually exchanges attack with SSM, and it makes him do pretty much nothing for a lot of the fight, and it just makes that fight extremely dragged out, which is fun for watching, but not much fun whenever you're going for a perfect smash and every victory counts. Ma'am, yeah, SSM's actives looking quite nice indeed. Bam. Now we just have the carry, so we're going to skip because it's obviously a win. Bam, and then we got another dark opponent. We'll see if this starts off well, but since we've already seen that fight, how it goes, we can just skip right after. 2 perceptual disorders, or 2 attempts, but only 1 successful. Perfect chases from SSM. Almost killing even in round 1, which is quite nice. Here we go. Not perfect chases, but that's okay. It'll be quite good. Quite fine. Almost over. We're just going to skip. Yep. Another victory for me. Haha. The light team, not going to be problematic at all. Okay. SSM, you'll notice my speed order is a little bit weird now. That's because SSM gained not just vigor from the bloom, but the permutation, or I don't know, variation version of vigor. It gives a random buff out of like, I don't know, like 8 different possible ones that give 75 speed. So there is a non-zero chance to mess up the speed order every round. It's not very likely that that occurs. You've seen how many fights we've done so far, and that didn't happen. But regardless, that is what happened there. Bam. Saving the most scary one for last. We're just going to skip this one. Wukong died there. And now we have the Shadow one. This one is, as I said before, quite scary. You'll notice how long the loading time is. We've got the enemies attacking. And pretty much every round after the first one, SSM is going to do practically 0 damage, which is rather funny. But as long as we keep them locked down with their attack debuffs, I think we should be fine. Yeah, you saw that. Like, literally no damage from SSM going out there. That is the Tick's passive attack steal. Quite scary indeed. There we go. Looks like we got lucky in our buff applications, which is quite good. We're going to try to get this Norton Heg down before the Azrael comes back, but the odds of that happening are not very high. Azrael's back. Let's just keep inflicting our attack debuffs, and we should be home free on this wave. Azrael's down. Let's finish off the Heg, please. Exceptionally tanky gentleman, it seems. Here we go. There we go. Over. Moving along. Pow. Almost there. So we can just keep on watching these just because they'll be entertaining, but we've seen all the enemy variations at this point. So not many surprises upcoming. There we go, SSM getting the speed debuff. I guess it's a buff, but a debuff in our case because it messes with my speed order a little bit. Not the end of the world though, as you can see. It just means some of his actives aren't going to be as potent as they won't have the DRR from the Wukong. But it is what it is. We are still surviving and managing just fine. Bam. Yep, so we'll skip it. Fortress once again. That Sherlock has an absolute thing for targeting SSM today. He's kind of freaking me out a little bit. Like he has sniped SSM and inflicted the dove many times. Rather freaky. But that is why we run Melissa on our team, freeing SSM every time that dove is inflicted. I reckon this will do it for the wave. There we go. You've got Forest again. The deaths that I've had have been to Forest and Shadow. I don't recall if I've had a death to Dark, but I know for a fact I have died to Shadow and to Forest at least once along my Realms Gate 180 Perfect Smash journey. So the hope is that that does not occur again, but the chance is always there. Gorgeous active skill from SSM, picking them off. And we skip, and it is done. Light coming by. We don't even need to watch this one, because Light and Abyss are the easiest of this grouping. There we go. Let's move along. We're going to go to this one, just because the pillar is going to give us a little bit of a buff and also cost less energy, because there are only 3 energies. 3 enemies rather, which means it costs us 15 of the energy rather than 25 on the typical wave. Crit damage reduction, HP, or all damage dealt. I'm going to go with all damage dealt for funsies. And because we're probably getting a little bit bored of the attack animations, we're going to go with the basketball skin. As disgusting as this skin is, it's going to be a little bit of a different flavor of our fights. So we're just going to go with it. Wukong not being very helpful with the initial stuns, but that's expected as this is a dark team, and thus they have lots of native control immunity, both in their individual hero kits and as part of their faction aura. But that's quite all right. Seems we're going to win either way. Yeah, I'm feeling rather confident about this one. Here comes another active skill, coming in hot. Bam. Quite nice. I have also noticed that SSM's basketball active is faster than his regular one, which is a little bit weird. I think that's the only hero where that is the case, where the skin animation is just faster than the non-skin one. I'm not really sure why that is, but regardless, it's rather rapid. Oh yeah, and I guess for a little bit of flavor, we can change the Star Alchemist Home skin too. We'll do that. Swapping it to the normal variation this time. Although I do tend to like the little rabbits. I think they cook with their Easter skins. Utterly cooked with the HHA skin, the Star Alchemist skin, and lately the Count of Nightmare Finn skin. I think they all look absolutely wonderful. Bam. Lots of damage coming out. Whoa! Wukong half perished. I think we're going to be okay, though. More attack debuffs coming out. Whew, dangerous looking fight so far. We've got one more active skill from SSM before we swap to the defensive stance. So I think we're going to be okay. Oof. Wow. Dark putting up a little bit of a fight for us. Don't necessarily like to see that. But I think we have it back under control. I do appreciate Holmes dubbing the carry. Got a perceptual disorder on her now, which is also nice. I anticipate that they will now be debuffed such that they are no longer a problem. So I think this should be just about over. Here we go. Bam, that's the fight. Quite nice. Moving along. All we need to finish this stage successfully. So for good luck, we're going to swap back to the actual good version of SSM's appearance and the bunny skin for Star Alchemist Holmes, and we are praying for An easy puppet for us. Let's see what flavor. We got Trial of the Bulwark, which means I feel pretty good about our odds of victory here. I feel quite nice indeed. So we'll watch these last few fights. Sadly, I won't be able to showcase the actual perfect smash thing because we won't have enough energy for the perfect smash display to show up, which a little annoying, but it is what it is. Pardon me while I take off my sweatshirt. I am getting positively warm. Ah, okay. Sweatshirt removed. Awesome. Awesome. Back to it. We have the free Abyss opponents. Not going to pose any threat whatsoever, which we do love to see. Here we go. Only 2 chases. Full sending this next active skill. Here we go. And we can proceed. Trial of Bulwark. So we're going to swap to our dot boss team. The team designed for puppets. You'll notice HHA is on there with a Star Soul. That is because the shielding and all damage dealt that he provides my team is extraordinarily helpful for Realm's Gate. So he does help quite a lot in our teams here. I consider him one of my MVPs actually. Quite nice. I might even do later on a video comparing and contrasting different support heroes in HHA's position on my line, just so we can get a handle on just how helpful he's being in this case. My prediction, he's being very helpful, and he is simply overhated. But what do I know? What do I know? Nothing. And that is going to be perfect smash for Realm's Gate 180. Unlocked and donezo. Feels quite nice. Now what we can do, I suppose, is we can go ahead and go in to Ethereal Realm. Because I am a regular Ethereal Realm completer. And we're actually going to go in. Uh-oh, what is this map? Oh, okay. I went to the wrong map. Pardon me. Pardon me. We're going to go to this map, which is also complete. But what we're going to do is we are going to go right here. We are going to use this ability, and you'll see, look at all of these red enemies that we are going to put the buff onto. And this means they are all going to give me increased materials, which means lots of Star Soul materials. Quite nice. So we'll send the team in. You'll be able to get a direct damage comparison between how Finn did versus how SSM does in here. A little bit of a spoiler. SSM is going to absolutely gap Counts of Nightmare Finn. It's not even going to be close. You can say, well, it's not a fair comparison. Zeros. Your SSM's an S tier, and Finn was only an A tier. And to that I say, shut up. Lots of loot here. Moving on. Bam. And no, of course I will address that criticism. SSM was just gapping Count of Nightmare Finn before even the S tier was on him. I used to have a perfect awaken on an A tier. Giant Killer to fire skill damage. And the outcomes were much the same as what is happening here. So, yeah, Count of Nightmare Finn, not the greatest PvE hero to ever live, but that's okay. We love him all the same. as the PvP hero of our dreams, I suppose. I need to go back to SSM real quick in the hero bag and take off whatever Purify he has and give him Control Purify. There we go. Back to the ethereal realm, though. So we're going to send him in. Pow. Lots of lovely loot for us. We do take free Star Soul materials. This is a good strategy to do, by the way. Find yourself a map with lots of clustered purple enemies. And this will allow you to use your cat's little cultivation ability and allow you to more efficiently farm for your Star Soul materials over time, which turns out to be rather helpful in the long term, because this used to be you used to get 30 apiece, and now you get 37 whenever you have this little charm chasing knowledge buff on them. And that's not insignificant. That's almost a 33% increase in lootage, which we absolutely take. It's closer to 25%. But 25% more loot on Star Soul materials, abso-friggin-lutely, that will accumulate over time rather significantly. So that's quite cool. Highly recommend making use of that strategy. So I'll be leaving this particular map anchored forever. Unless there's one with, one more, or like literally one more purple enemy clustered, because that's the only way we could improve upon this. But until that point, we're just going to be abusing this one, which is A-okay with me. If he had had more chases there, that would have been a round one clearance of the entire stage. That would have ruled. Alas, did not happen, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Bam. More enemies to go. Boom. We could potentially, now that I'm not at risk of dying, I used to be, hence the BQA, slot in MFG as a hero, where BQA is. That would make my survivability a bit worse, but it would also increase my damage output through the friggin' roof. So perhaps that's a strategy we can make use of in the very near future, as I feel like, whenever I've accomplished all of my goals. And now we're going to go on over here. We're going to use this. Pow. And that just buffs the loot I get from the non-buffed one. And that is basically how I'm going to be farming Star Soul materials from the ethereal realm. Rather good idea, I must say. But yeah, that'll be perfect smash. 152 million attacks, Star Swordsman Mockman getting absolutely enormous. Loving him to death. More videos to come in the future. I hope to clear this nightmare at some point. Yeah, we're approaching the stats that I expect to be able to clear this. But it's going to be a shit show. Truly is. But regardless, that is for another time. Thank you very much for watching. I love you all. Have a wonderful day.